Today, we're jumping into a really powerful technique that comes from a Vietnamese lecture on personal growth. It's a super simple daily habit, but it's designed to completely unlock your mind's potential.
So let me ask you something. What if a simple, daily habit could just fundamentally change your mindset? I mean, really help you find the positive in any situation. What if you could actually train your brain to see an opportunity inside of a crisis, or to see the good in every single person you meet? Well, that's the core idea we're going to explore today.
All right, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll cover the main idea, the brain activation principle. Then, we'll get into the simple daily practice. After that, a really cool analogy about a butterfly. Then we'll talk about switching on the light, a new way to handle problems. And finally, how to use all this to grow faster.
So, first things first, what exactly is this brain activation principle? Well, at its heart, it's really just a method for opening up our minds, for consciously, rewiring how we see the world around us.
The whole goal here is to shift your default setting, So instead of automatically seeing a problem, you train yourself to see the potential. Instead of zooming in on someone's flaws, you learn to spot their strengths. The ultimate aim is to get what's called a clear mind, basically a state where your brain is just switched on for positive recognition.
Okay, so how do we actually do this? Well, what's so powerful about this whole principle is how simple it is. Seriously. It all comes down to a daily practice of just summarizing 3 key insights. And that's what makes it a real habit you can do, not just some abstract idea.
Every single day. That's it. You just need to identify and jot down these 3 things. And each one is a different kind of insight. So let's break down what each of these Vietnamese terms actually means.
First up, we have Bai Hoc. This is all about capturing brand new knowledge. It's just recognizing that every single day gives you a chance to learn something you didn't know when you woke up, no matter how small it might seem.
Next is Tâm Đắc. Now this one is about practical wisdom. It's not just some new fact, but an idea that really hits home, one that makes you think, hey, I can actually use this. It's the knowledge you can turn into action.
And finally, Ngộ Ra. Oh, this is the best one. This is that amazing aha moment. It's that sudden flash of clarity on something you've been chewing on for days or weeks, or maybe even longer. It's when a question you've had just finally clicks.
But why? Why does this simple act of just writing stuff down have such a big effect? Well, to get that, we need to look at an analogy that really gets to the heart of how we actually grow as people. It shows that real transformation isn't about getting a helping hand, it's about something way deeper.
This whole idea that real, lasting change has to come from the inside is captured perfectly in a story from the lecture. It's a great illustration of why you can't be forced into becoming a better version of yourself.
I mean, what a powerful story, right? Any external help, even when it's meant to be kind, can actually rob us of the struggle we need to build our own strength. That butterfly had to fight its way out to pump fluid into its wings so it could fly. And it's the same for us. Our real growth, our true transformation, has to be a breakthrough that we make ourselves, from the inside out.
So this brings us to a really fundamental shift in perspective. This daily practice, it's not about fighting your negative thoughts or trying to erase all your problems. It's about putting your focus somewhere else entirely.
And this slide just illustrates it perfectly. It's what the lecturer calls the principle of light. Think about it for a second. You can't fight the darkness in a room, right? You can't scoop it into a bucket or push it out the door. It's just a pointless struggle. But if you simply turn on a light, the darkness is gone. Instantly. The same exact thing applies to our minds.
So how do you turn on the lights? Well, that daily practice we just talked about, that's the light switch. Every new lesson, every key takeaway, every single realization you collect, that's another light you're turning on. You're actively building up your wisdom, a positive mindset, and a stronger character. And by focusing on bringing in all that light, the darkness, the negativity, the problems, it just naturally fades away.
And this leads us to the final piece of the puzzle, how to actually speed all of this up. A lot of us get stuck, right? Because we feel like we have to understand something perfectly before we can even start. But this lecture suggests a way faster path.
Now, I know this might sound a little backward, but think about it like learning your multiplication tables when you were a kid. You first just accepted that 2 times 2 is 4. You memorized it, and you used it. The deep, complex mathematical theory of why it equals 4, that could come way, way later. You applied the rule long before you mastered the theory.
So the lecturer lays out these 4 stages of learning. And if you want to transform quickly, the advice is to just start at step 1, know. Simply become aware of and accept the brain activation principle. Start the daily practice. Just trust that the real understanding, the mastery, and eventually the transformation, that will all follow as long as you keep taking action.
So the real key here is this. This is not some complicated theory you have to study for years. It's a simple, repeatable action. The lecturer mentioned doing this for over a decade, and it's that consistency that just compounds over time, building this incredible foundation for mental clarity and real growth.
In the original talk, the speaker challenges everyone to try this for just 21 days to see the change for themselves. So, why not start right now? Seriously, just take a moment and think about it. From everything we just went over, what's one new lesson, one key takeaway, or one realization you've had? Whatever it is, that's your first entry. Go for it.